In the dim glow of a cluttered garage on the outskirts of Atlanta, Marcus Thompson wiped the sweat from his brow, his hands trembling not from exhaustion but from the raw ache of a life unraveled. At 42, he had just signed the divorce papers that ended a 15-year marriage, leaving him with an empty house, a stack of bills, and a hollow chest where hope used to reside. The ink was barely dry when he stumbled upon an online auction for vintage cars, a distraction from the silence that now haunted his days. Among the listings, a 1937 Cadillac Series 75 caught his eye. Rusted, forgotten, its once regal body coated in decades of dust, priced low enough for a man starting over. Marcus, a software engineer by trade but a tinkerer at heart, bid impulsively, driven by a vague notion of restoration as therapy. When the car arrived on a flatbed truck, its massive frame creaking under its own weight, he felt a flicker of excitement amid the despair. The Cadillac, with its Art Deco curves and faded chrome, whispered of a bygone era, an era Marcus knew all too well from family stories passed down like guarded secrets. He began the work that evening, polishing the exterior under fluorescent lights, his mind drifting to better times. But as he pried open the trunk, something shifted. Beneath a loose panel, hidden in a compartment sealed by time and neglect, lay a weathered leather box. Inside were yellowed letters, faded photographs, and a small bound diary, its pages brittle but intact. The first entry, dated June 12, 1937, sent a chill down his spine. They came in the night, hooded like ghosts, and took my brother. I hid this in the car, praying it survives what I may not. Marcus's heart raced. This wasn't just memorabilia. It was a portal to a buried horror, one that would unearth truths about America's dark underbelly and force him to confront echoes of injustice that still lingered in his own blood. What he had uncovered wasn't treasure or trivia. It was a testament to survival against unimaginable odds, and it was about to change everything he thought he knew about his past, his present, and the fight he never knew he needed to wage. Marcus's life had always been a careful balance, navigating the subtle barriers that came with being a black man in contemporary America. Born in the 1980s to parents who had marched in Selma's shadows, he grew up hearing tales of resilience amid segregation's scars, but he had built his world far from those flames. A stable job in tech, a suburban home, a marriage to Elena that started with promise but crumbled under the weight of unspoken resentments and long hours. The divorce hit like a storm, stripping him of routine and leaving him adrift. Friends suggested therapy or travel, but Marcus craved something tangible, something he could fix with his hands. The auction was a whim, scrolled through during a sleepless night. The 1937 Cadillac stood out not for its glamour but its story, or lack thereof. The seller's description was sparse. Estate sale item, original condition, no known history. Marcus won the bid at $8,500, a steal for such a classic, and arranged delivery. When it arrived, the car exuded an aura of faded grandeur, its black paint chipped to reveal hints of primer, the interior leather cracked like parched earth. He imagined it cruising highways in its prime, ferrying the elite through the Great Depression's gloom. Days turned to weeks as Marcus dove into restoration. He ordered parts online, new spark plugs, tires, a carburetor kit, and spent evenings in the garage, the radio humming old jazz tunes to fill the void. The work was methodical, sanding rust, rewiring lights, polishing hubs until they gleamed. It gave him purpose, a way to rebuild when his own life felt irreparable. But the car held secrets beyond mechanics. Subtle anomalies emerged, a mismatched panel in the trunk, odd scratches inside the glove compartment, as if it had been altered hastily. One humid afternoon, while removing the trunk lining to treat corrosion, Marcus's screwdriver caught on a hidden latch. With a click, a false bottom gave way, revealing the box. Dust motes danced in the air as he lifted it out, his pulse quickening. The contents were meticulously preserved. Envelopes tied with string, black and white photos of stern-faced men in suits, and the diary, its cover embossed with faint initials J.L. Marcus sat on the concrete floor, flipping through pages filled with neat cursive script. The writer was Jeremiah Lawson, a black chauffeur in Mississippi during the Jim Crow era, employed by a prominent white family. The entries painted a vivid picture of daily humiliations, forced deference, segregated roads, the constant threat of violence. Curiosity gripped Marcus. This wasn't just history. It was a voice from the grave, pulling him into a narrative that mirrored the undercurrents of prejudice he had faced in subtler forms throughout his life. As he read deeper, the setup for something profound began to unfold, binding his personal loss to a larger tapestry of enduring struggle. As Marcus delved into Jeremiah's diary, the garage transformed into a time capsule, each entry layering tension like storm clouds gathering over the Mississippi Delta. Jeremiah's words transported him to 1937, a year of economic despair and entrenched racial divides, where black lives hung by threads of white whims. Jeremiah described his days driving the Cadillac for the Harrington family, wealthy cotton merchants whose empire was built on sharecropping's exploitative backbone. He navigated dirt roads under scorching suns, enduring slurs from passers-by, his uniform a shield that offered no real protection. The rising revelations built slowly, each page heightening the emotional stakes. Jeremiah wrote of small indignities first, being denied water at gas stations, forced to eat in the car while the Harringtons dined inside. But the narrative darkened as he detailed systemic injustices, the poll taxes that silenced black votes, the lynchings whispered about in church basements. Marcus felt a knot in his stomach, recognizing parallels to modern voter suppression and police encounters he had narrowly avoided. One entry recounted a night when Jeremiah overheard Mr. Harrington plotting with local Klan members to evict black tenant farmers who dared unionize, their lands seized under fabricated debts. Tension escalated as personal stories emerged. Jeremiah confessed a forbidden bond with Eliza, a black schoolteacher in town, their meetings stolen in moonlit fields. But racism's grip tightened. Eliza was harassed by white vigilantes for teaching uppity ideas like equality. Jeremiah's fear permeated the pages. They watch us like hawks, ready to pounce on any spark of defiance. Marcus paused often, his own divorce wounds reopening, Elena's accusations of emotional distance now echoing Jeremiah's isolation. He researched online, confirming historical contexts. 1937 saw the Scottsboro Boys' retrials and the rise of anti-lynching bills stalled in Congress. Deeper in, the diary unveiled a pivotal injustice. Jeremiah witnessed a brutal assault on a young black activist, Thomas Reed, who organized boycotts against discriminatory stores. Beaten and left for dead by hooded figures, Thomas survived long enough to entrust Jeremiah with evidence, a signed confession from a complicit sheriff's deputy, hidden in the Cadillac's secret compartment during a frantic escape. But pursuit followed. Jeremiah described chases on back roads, the car's engine roaring as he evaded capture. The intensity peaked on a stormy evening as Marcus reached the diary's final entries, the garage lit only by a swinging bulb that cast erratic shadows across the Cadillac's frame. Jeremiah's handwriting trembled here, the ink smudged as if written in haste. He detailed the fateful night of August 23, 1937, a clandestine meeting in an abandoned barn where Thomas Reed planned to deliver the evidence to Northern journalists. But betrayal struck like lightning. Mr. Harrington, tipped off by a bribed informant, summoned the Klan. Jeremiah, parked outside as lookout, heard the chaos unfold, shouts, gunfire, the sickening thud of bodies. In vivid prose, Jeremiah recounted hiding in the underbrush as hooded men dragged Thomas and two others into the night, their pleas swallowed by the darkness. He slipped back to the Cadillac, stashing the documents in the hidden panel just as torches flared nearby. The chase that followed was a blur of terror. Tires screeching on gravel, shots whizzing past the windows. Jeremiah evaded them briefly, but isolation's weight crushed him. "I am marked now," he wrote, "a witness to their sins, and they will not rest until I am silenced." The climax surged as Marcus uncovered the ultimate horror, Jeremiah's last entry, scrawled in a roadside motel, revealed he had been cornered. Captured and beaten, he managed to mail a cryptic letter to a relative before his disappearance. Presumed lynched, body never found. The evidence in the box included blood-stained fabric and the deputy's confession, irrefutable proof of a cover-up that protected powerful families for generations. Marcus's breath caught. This wasn't abstract history. It was a raw wound, the Cadillac a vessel of suppressed truth. Emotion overwhelmed him, tears mixing with rain pattering on the garage roof. The injustice hit viscerally. Jeremiah's sacrifice erased, his voice entombed in metal. Marcus slammed the diary shut, the sound echoing like a gunshot, realizing the car's curse of neglect stemmed from rumors of its haunted past. In that moment, the past collided with his present, shattering his numbness, the divorce's pain paling against this legacy of systemic erasure. He knew then that unearthing this could upend lives, expose descendants of the perpetrators, and demand reckoning. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil within, pushing Marcus to a breaking point where inaction was no longer an option. With the diary's secrets laid bare, Marcus emerged from the garage transformed, the Cadillac no longer a mere project but a beacon of unresolved justice. Dawn broke as he contacted historians at the local university, sharing scans of the documents. Experts authenticated them swiftly, linking the events to archived records of 1937's Delta purges, where at least a dozen black organizers vanished amid cotton industry crackdowns. The deputy's confession named names, including Harrington's, whose lineage still held influence in Southern politics. Marcus's journey shifted from personal healing to public advocacy. He restored the car fully, not for show but as a mobile exhibit, partnering with civil rights museums to display the artifacts. News outlets picked up the story. A divorced man's chance find exposing a forgotten atrocity. Descendants of Thomas Reed and Jeremiah surfaced through genealogy sites. One, a distant cousin of Marcus's, confirmed the family connection via DNA, weaving his bloodline into the narrative. Reunions followed, tearful gatherings where stories long suppressed flowed freely, healing generational traumas. The impact rippled outward. Legal teams reviewed the evidence, prompting investigations into Harrington heirs' estates, leading to reparations funds for affected families. Marcus, once adrift, found purpose in speaking engagements, narrating Jeremiah's tale to audiences gripped by its relevance, echoes in today's disparities,